Down in the shadows where the courthouse stands, a gavel cracks a fading hands. Judge Gould, they whisper with a crooked grin, played the game where justice don't win. Free Rick Allen, let him go. Chains on the innocent, don't you know? When the truth's been buried and the lies unfold, the fire in the people burns hot and cold. Prosecutor McLean with his papers tied wrote the tale that never saw light. Twisted words in a room of stone, left Rick Allen to stand alone. Who will answer? Who will pay? The sun don't rise on a judgment day. Free Rick Allen, let him go. Chains on the innocent, don't you know? When the truth's been buried and the lies unfold, the fire in the people burns hot and cold. Officer Holeman, eyes like frost, drunk on power, the line got lost. Lock the doors, keep him inside, for justice limps where his footsteps stride.
Hello, folks. Welcome and welcome back if you caught me earlier today. And the Delphi trial transcripts. Everybody knows my opinion on this. I believe that Rick Allen was wrongfully convicted of the crime accused. Main parts are his confessions did not match the crime scene. It simply didn't. And the only reason, or the one reason, the main reason he got this arrest warrant was that this toolmark analyst said there was a match regarding the bullets, which is completely false. You can't match a spent casing with a cycled cartridge. He should have never been jailed at all. Never. So I have 2 years and, well, more than 2 years now of Delphi. Let's see here. 84 streams and videos over the span of 2 years. So if you want to... Now, all up until the trial, most of it is, of course, speculation, because we simply did not know. After that, once we started to find out what actually went on in that courtroom, Jesus Christ. And now, I don't know if you heard this. Let's see if I can. Dun, dun, dun. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'll show you this. regarding court reporter Jody. I'm writing this. Judge Girl's employee was a source that leaked convenient information for the prosecution. Watch out, Becky Hill. We have spotted a more corrupt clerk than you. And this is from All Eyes on Delphi. Where Gary says, right, I understand. Well, that's what Baldwin's... It states in the PCA that RA spoke to the CEO in 2017 and didn't speak with law enforcement again until a couple of weeks before the arrest. Right, I understand. Well, that's what Baldwin's press release said. And yeah, he should know. So keep this in mind and to yourself, please. You know my source? The one who works for the judge? Yeah. They said the version of the PCA that was released is a 2.0 version. The 1.0 was even more embarrassing for law enforcement. They removed some of the embarrassment from it before releasing it. Just thought you might find that interesting. I didn't get any more details than that. I find that very believable. Lol, true, but holy F. Also, my source says, and then in parentheses, whenever I say source, I'm talking about this person. She has seen all the docs. She says, RA is guilty as sin. First of all, Jody has not seen all of it. And we know that her hearing ability is somewhat impaired. And the trial transcripts that I'm reading from, are missing the initial ex parte safekeeping hearing. Where is it, Jody? Hopefully the appellate attorneys have it, but you can never be sure. I mean, Jody has still not handed over the Frank's motion exhibits. These are by the way, this is the actual hearing I'm reading now, is the evidence that the court refused to give to the appeals attorneys. She's 100% sure and wants harsh punishment to happen to him. She was saying how she hopes Josh Gull keeps him in Westview because that's where he belongs. I hope my judge source will get access to the documents again. She said she would need approval from the judge to go in and look at the unredacted and would need a good reason to. And I don't want to get her in trouble just for this name. And this is from, there's Fig. Yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah, it seems like little Jody was quite an active participant in making sure that Rick stayed in Westville. Influenced Judge Gull, who knows? But, I mean, this is corruption. Moral and ethical corruption. All right, but let's go to this. Let me place myself up here so we can all see. Hi, Gigi. Hi, Jimmy. Hey, Soko. Diana, Miss Rattle, Sleuthy, Horse, Welfare, Gwendolyn, Becky, Amica Fan, and Marilyn. Oh, before I forget, thank you to Natalia, who bought me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com. Thank you so much. It's very, very appreciated. Very, very appreciated. Yeah, as Becky says, karma has all their names and never forgets. All right, let's continue with the part 2 of the state's motion in limine regarding the defense third-party culprit defense. The court. Okay, we are back on the record. Is the defense ready to continue? Mr. Baldwin, we are, Judge. The court, you may call your next witness. Mr. Baldwin, thank you. I'm just going to do another deposition. I like to enter a deposition in. Before I do that, and before I forget, I want to move to have this court take judicial notice of ranks 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think we already did, but I don't know if all those pleadings were scanned or not. Mr. Baldwin is it's almost as if he, just to make sure that the court actually have these documents. Remember, they try to claim, oh, you can get those records from the defense. No, the appeals team can't. It has to come from the court. Hello, living life. Hello. The court, I think you did it at the dismissal hearing, but I will take judicial notice of the pleadings that were previously filed. Thank you. At this time, we would move into evidence the deposition of Nicole Robertson from April 17th, 2024. Particularly, I will read into the record the parts I want the court to consider. This is on page 36, lines 8 through 11. Question. Now that you said that it appeared that the girls' bodies were moved and staged, what was your basis for that statement? The answer is the crime scene photos. For the record, she is an FBI agent. The next is page 40, line 16 through 24. Again, is there something in particular that made you think that they had been placed? Answer. The way their bodies are resting, yes. Question. And what about where their bodies are resting? Answer. How they're lying, how their bodies are lying. Question. In terms of where the arms and legs are, or physically in that location where they're located. Answer. It's how their limbs look. Then move on to page 75, line 17. What was the purpose of looking at books? Answer. For anything that could be maybe rune-related or Nordic. Why that? Answer. Just because the potential of those sticks means meaning something. And then the court, may I interrupt? Are all of these marked in that deposition for my review? Mr. Baldwin, yes. Okay, thank you. Yes, I've got them. If it's okay, I both highlighted them and put a little orange sticky. Okay, and that would be then what? TT? I'm sorry, what? Defendants Exhibits TT. TT, okay. Last page, TT, page 84. When you talked, question, when you talked earlier about looking for books that might have runes or Nordic, kind of, I don't remember how you said it. How do you said runes or some Nordic? Answer, yeah, Nordic. Was that something that, on your own, you thought to do, or have you talked to somebody that had said to you, look, there might be these sticks on these girls, and that means that the scene might be Nordic related or rune related. So go look for books or anything that might have had that type of topic as a part of book. Was that something you did on your own, or do you think somebody else told you to do that? Answer. There was always a discussion of it, that it could potentially mean something. Okay, and apparently somebody thought, when you said it might mean something, that the something is potentially Nordic or runic in nature, and that's what was left behind at the scene. Is that true? Answer, yes. And that's Defendant's Exhibit TT. The court, any objection? Judge, no, just I guess the request from the state, that's not the deposition that I highlighted on marked page for the court. And so I would just ask the court to consider looking at perhaps the page before and after the mark to add some context to the highlighted portions. Defendant's Exhibit TT admitted. Mr. Baldwin, call Jerry Holeman. Folks, You know what's about to happen if you've been here before. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Hello. I am Jerry's third cousin by inbred marriage, Arthur Holeman. I'm going to read the part of Jerry Holeman. My name is Arthur, but you can call me A Holeman. All right. Direct examination of Lieutenant Jerry Holeman. Questions by Mr. Baldwin. State your name for the record. Jerry Holeman. Holeman. Thank you, Lieutenant Holeman. Are you familiar with what I think is commonly often known as Sketch 1 and Sketch 2? Yes. Okay, I'm going to court reporter. Can you move your microphone? I can't hear Andy, but I can hear you too. Can you move the microphone to the other side of Mr. Aussie? Oh, sorry. The court. Oh, he's got his computer. Yeah, thank you. Question. I'm going to hand you UU and VV. Can you identify those for you? Yes, they are sketches. Sketches 1 and 2. Sketch. Which one is Sketch 1? Depends on which one was released first to the media. Yes. This would be the first one that was identified by the number, or I think there's a number. You want my glasses? I got some. Where's the number at? It's on the exhibit sticker. Oh, okay. Yeah, UU, and there's a bunch of numbers, but yeah, it's UU. UU is what the first sketch released. Yes. Let me show you. They are talking about these two. These are the two sketches they are talking about. Just for reference. What we call sketch 1. Affirmative response. And then VV would be the second sketch that was released. Move to admit UU and VV. Offered. No objection. Admitted. And UU and VV sketch 1 and 2 are the same guy. Arthur Holeman, answer yes. Let me show you again. Jerry Holeman claims that these two sketches are the same person. Let that sink in. Jerry Holeman, under oath, are claiming these sketches are of the same person. Now, folks, this is rebutted by themselves, because in media they published guy 1 first and guy 2 later. First, they were looking for this guy, and they looked for him for 2 years, and then they said, we are no longer looking for that person. He is cleared. We are looking for the second person, a younger person. But here, under oath, Jerry Holeman says they are the same guy. Question, and I got, can you see that? Those are the same guy, right? Yes. And just so the judge is clear. Sketch 1, which is this guy here, that is a sketch made by Sarah Carball's description of what she saw, correct? Yes. And sketch 2 is what Betsy Blair, the description she gave of the person she saw, correct? Yes. Sketch 1 was the person that Sarah Carball claims that she saw at around 4 o'clock. After you say the girls were murdered, correct? That is correct. And sketch 2, it's the Betsy Blair sketch. Is who Betsy Blair described that she saw probably around 2 o'clock, give or take, before the girls were murdered, as you say, on the 13th, correct? Yes. And both of these guys, again, are the same guy, correct? Yes. And both of these guys in sketch 1 and 2 are this guy, Richard Allen. Just showing. This is who Jerry Holeman is. He lies. He's a lying liar who lies. But they don't look alike, do they? They have similar features, but one looks younger than the other, yes. Similar features. Like one has a square head, the other one has a more rounded head. One has a square jaw, the other one has an elongated jaw. One has eyes a bit wide apart, the other has eyes closer. Are you fucking kidding me, Jerry? You need to be blind, a medical moron, or you're a liar. You might be a medical moron who lies. And this, folks, is why the sketches was not allowed as evidence. Because if they were, Jerry Holeman had to take the stand either for the prosecution or the defense and claim that these two are the same guy. Okay, and it's fair to say that you need these guys to be the same guy for your timeline to work. Would you agree? The evidence indicates that they're the same guy. Okay, I understand that, yes. But that's part of your theory of the timeline is dependent upon these guys being the same guy. Sketch 1 and sketch 2, correct? Yes. But that's not always the way that the state police viewed sketch 1 and sketch 2, is it? I'm sorry, repeat the question. The state police didn't always review sketch 1 and sketch 2 as the same guy, did they? I've always viewed them as the same guy, yes. You lying sack of shit. Handing you what's been marked as Defendant Exhibit WW, which is an Indiana State Police. It's called an email update. I think there was also a press release sent out. Would you review that, please? Sure. Tell me when you're done. I'm done. I'm finished, sir. Thank you. This is a press release talking about sketch 1 and sketch 2, right? Yes. And it says, quote, it's important to distinguish these points about the two sketches. First bullet point, they are not the same person. Correct? Okay. That's what that says. Bullet point number 2, the person depicted in the originally released sketch is not presently a person of interest in this investigation. Correct? Yes. Bullet point 3, the sketch released on April 22nd, Mr. McLeland. Judge, I'm going to object at this point. I think the exhibit speaks for itself. If he wants to admit it, he can admit it. The court can review it. Mr. Baldwin, I'll admit it. Offered, no objection, admitted. So, Detective Holeman, the state police, while they are looking for the person that killed, or people that killed Abby and Libby, they thought sketch 1 and 2 were two different people. Answer, I think there was some confusion, Mr. McLeland. Objection, Judge! It calls for him to speculate what the ISP thought. He can testify as to what he thinks, but again, the document speaks for itself, Judge. The court sustained. Question. The press release that you read indicates that these are two different people. Objection, asked and answered, sustained. Question. After Richard Allen was arrested, sketch 1 and sketch 2 were considered to be just one person, Richard Allen, correct? Yes. No other questions. Cross-examination. Lieutenant Holeman, sketches, are they a tool that law enforcement use to identify possible suspect in a crime? Yes. And are you aware, in this offense, my understanding is that Miss Carbar and Miss Blair, they didn't want to do a sketch, but they were pressured by police to assist in the investigation. Is that a true statement? Yes. Okay, and the timeline. They asked you the question, the timeline is dependent on the sketches. That's not a true statement, is it? Our timeline isn't depending on these sketches. No, it's dependent on the people that saw those people that they sketched. So witness testimony, yes. Okay, and then the last question he asked you was, once Richard Allen was arrested, it was ISP's view that these are the same people. Has it always been your view that those sketches represent the same person? Yes, sir. Let me show you again. Yeah. The prosecution has to have these two as the same person. The morality, the retardation in this claims was probably recognized by the state. So they moved for not admitting the sketches. And Judge Gull, yeah, not admitted, can't be used. Because it would show it's beyond stupid. Beyond. So the ISP's view may be different. Your opinion is that those represent the same person. Yes. Okay, I don't have any other questions, Judge. Baldwin, no other questions. All right, thank you, Lieutenant. You may step down. The witness, thank you. Is he released from subpoena? Yes. Call your next witness. All right. Now, since Jerry has left, so will Arthur. You may call your next witness. Thank you. Thank you. Going through. It's not going to be a witness. It is going to be a judge. If we have had prior exhibit, it is well, which is easier for you. I just want to make it easier for you if you have prior exhibits. Do you want all? Do you want me to refer back to those? I haven't been doing that. Or would it be? Is it better for you to have them all kind of bundled? And okay, this is on this hearing. The court, yes, that way. That will be my preference. Okay, I'll move to admit XX, which are the emails between Doug Carter and the FBI that were referenced on Tuesday. I'll read it briefly into the record, the part I want you to consider. Are they marked? No, I will do that, though. The court, I mean, that way, that'll save me some time if you just have them marked. Then I know that those are the things that you want me to review. Okay. Is there any objection to XX? No. Mr. Baldwin, this is from reading into the record from the February 17th email. Suspect 6 is being worked hard right now too. He has ties to Bradley Holder, who we have been working. He may have ties to Vinlanders. DT squad appraised and tasked sources to collect any intelligence which may assist. I think that's, for purpose of this hearing, that's the only thing that I would want referenced. Did I admit it? Yes, you did admit it. Next, I will move into evidence YY, which is, this is what I refer to in my opinion as, I call it the Blocher report, Judge, but it is a report by Steve Mullin concerning his interaction and discussion with Sergeant Blocher. I'm going to read into record the second page. Mr. McClelland, Judge, I have no objection to the exhibit. Just want to make a note for the record that it's the state's perspective at this point that this would not be admissible at trial. That is hearsay. Mr. Blocher is not going to be available to testify. This is a written statement in a police report, and so while I don't object to this exhibit, I don't think it's admissible at the trial level, Judge. And I also don't believe it needs to be read into the record. If it's going to be entered, the court can consider it and then speak for itself. Mr. Baldwin, well, then let me mark which part I want. The court, YY is then admitted without objection with those provisos. Yes, Your Honor. And Judge, as it relates to that, I'm guessing at the very end of this hearing, perhaps the state is going to be saying this piece of evidence is inadmissible. That piece of evidence is inadmissible. Are you going? What's going to be your preference regarding that? Like arguing it now or arguing it like a memo afterwards? If you want to submit memos, you certainly can. I mean, you can also argue it here. Miss Baldwin, okay, I want to move along, so the court, okay. Mr. Baldwin, I move to, or Exhibit YY, I move to admit into evidence for the purposes of reading. I'm not going to read it into the record, but just mark it. It's marked, yeah. Thank you. Mr. Baldwin, thank you. Would call Amber Holder. Witness hold. State your name for the record and spell it, please. Amber Holder. Amber, how old are you? I'll be 31 in November. I'm bad with dates. Okay. Dates aren't your strong suit. No, sir. What do you do for a living? I'm a manager at public storage. And how long have you been doing that? Almost 2 years now. Was there ever a time when you were married to Brad Holder? Yes, sir. Knowing that you're bad with years, can you kind of give us a sense of when that was? Around 2018. Okay, this is 2024. She's 31. This is 6 years earlier. She would be 25. So she's 25 with a 16-year-old stepson. All right. Okay, how were you actually married? Is that right? Yes, sir. Did you have any children together? No. And how was the divorce? Was it acrimonious? Were you angry at everybody? Do you have a grudge against him now, or is it pleasant? It was pleasant. After the divorce, would you go talk to him from time to time? Yes. Okay. Were there ever any occasions after you were separated where, Brad Holder talked about the Delphi case after we divorced? No. Okay. What about before you were divorced? Yes. Were you separated or still together? We were still together. Okay. Tell me about, what did Brad Holder tell you about the Delphi case, if anything? At the beginning of the marriage or in the middle? Let's start at the beginning. When we first got together, he said he didn't know anything about the Delphi case, that he never met Abby. In the middle, he said that when he was drinking, that he had a fight with Patrick next to a river, and there was some blood on a rock, and that him and Patrick was fighting because Patrick wanted to up from animal slaughter to a different kind of sacrifice. Okay. What was ever going on at near the water, you said? Was going on there that caused the fight in question? Brad said that they were next to the water and there was blood on a rock near it, and that Patrick wanted up sacrificing animals to humans. Okay. Did Brad Holder ever cut his own hand as part of a ritual? Yes. Tell the judge about that. He was praying to the gods using incense in a metal bowl with flames. Stupid cunt. Not her. Brad Holder. And sliced his own hand to use his own blood as like a type of sacrifice. And where would the blood go? Into the pan that had the incense with fire. Did he ever cut your hand in some way? Yes. Was there any difference in how that happened or where the blood? No. Went. Did Brad ever tell? You said that early in the marriage he said he never met Abby. He said he never met Abby and he didn't know anything about the Delphi case. Okay. Did that change later on? Did he say he knew something about it or knew that who might have killed those girls? He said that I brought it up because his son Logan, his middle son, kept having issues. And I sat down and talked to him and he said that he missed Abby. And I asked who Abby was. And it was his girlfriend that apparently got murdered. So then I brought it up with Brad, and he was drinking a lot, and he said that Patrick killed Abby. Did he say Patrick did it alone or with other people? He said others, and that I need to keep my mouth shut. And did he say why you needed to keep your mouth shut? If I talked, that they would kill me. Do you know if Brad Holder owned knives? Yes. Do you know how many knives approximately? No. Was it lots of knives or just a few knives? He had some at the house that we were staying in, and then he had some at his parents' house, but I don't know if he had any anywhere else. And did he make his own knives, or did he buy the knives? Do you know? I'm not sure. Oh. And can you describe what at least one of these knives looked like? The knife that he used to cut his hand to praise the gods and to cut my hand was a curvy blade with a wooden handle, and it was rusty. Folks, the old Aesirs kept their stuff clean. If you do shit with a rusty knife, you're a fucking moron. But we already knew that. Okay, what about runes? Did Brad Holder have runes? Did he? Yes. Okay, tell me about that. They're usually made out of animal bones, usually like an antler or something, but we cut it into like small circles, and then you usually grab like a wood burner and put your runes on it. But yes, he did have some of his own runes. And you? What is your religion? I follow the old Nordic gods. No, you don't. Okay, and what was Brad Holder's religion? When we first met, he said he followed the old Nordic gods. Found out he was supposed to be a 6th generation Christian preacher. And he decided to pick up my religion, but he was very confusing on that. Okay, did you and Brad ever pray to Odin or other gods? We pray to our gods, well, my gods. Odin is the main god, but there is no such thing as Odinist. Okay, yeah, just thank you for saying that. But you don't think, if I were to use the phrase Odinist, you don't think that that's a real thing? No. Why? You can pray to one god out of all the gods, but there isn't actually an Odinist. Okay, and sorry, no, go ahead. Odin is very protective over children, so if there will be no one in my religion to sacrifice children. We protect women, children, and the only time we hurt an animal is to use every part of that animal. And again, what is your religion? I'll follow the old Nordic gods. Old Nordic gods. Did Brad Holder ever tell you that Patrick Westphal and his crew killed the girls because one of the mothers was mixing with another race? Yes. When did that conversation occur? That conversation occurred during the marriage. He said that Abby's mom was sleeping with a black man. Did Brad ever warn you about Patrick Westphal? I know we talked about it, but yes. Why did he say you should be concerned? After we got divorced and I spoke to the 2 police officers at my house, they asked if I could go back and get more information. I went back and said that my best friend's sister was talking about dating Patrick, and he told us both to stay away from Patrick because he's very dangerous. Did he mention anything about a fire in Patrick Westphal? No, sir. Nothing you remember? Not that I remember. Okay. Did you ever see any images on, by the way, fire in Patrick Westphal? They are referencing here the Flora 4 arson, which killed 4 young black girls. Okay, did you ever see any images on Brad's phone of kind of girls on a forest floor? Yes, sir. Tell the judge about that. I've seen that Brad has multiple Facebooks, and I asked him about it, and he said that he kept forgetting the passwords, and that he kept making new ones. And I asked him about a picture I saw with 2 women in the woods, and he said those are his friends posing as dead bodies. Okay. Why did he say there were 2 women posing as dead bodies in the woods? What was the purpose? He said that they were reenacting like a sacrifice, but his friends were playing, and they weren't actually dead. And how many of those photos did you see? 2. For the record, nobody knows who those 2 girls on the Facebook photo is. Did Brad Holder ever tell you whether or not he and Patrick Westphal sacrificed animals? Yes. And what was the answer? He said that they were hunting for deer and stuff. Okay, hunting would be different than sacrificing. I want to be clear. Well, hunting is kind of like a sacrifice. No. Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong. Sorry. Because you would use the blood in a ritual, like praising the gods, like Odin loved tobacco. How would Odin love tobacco 1,000 years ago, when tobacco was brought into the world after Columbus set foot in the Caribbeans? Way after. Oh, yeah, that's the Native American thing. I mean, oh, for fuck's sake. This is so stupid. What a bunch of stupid people. You would lay a cigarette in the flames with the incense. You would also drop some type of sacrifice in there, either your blood or an animal's blood. Thank you. I don't have further questions. McLeland! Jesus Christ. Miss Holder. I may have missed this, but do you know the time period you were married to Brad Holder? Just the years? Like, July 1st off. Doesn't have to be the exact, but the years that you were married. Well, when he started drinking and saying all this stuff, I didn't want to keep me and my children in that household, so that's fine. Do you know the years you were married? 2018. It only lasted a couple of months. Okay, so just in 2018. I do believe so. Okay, during that time, he practiced, at least in part, he practiced the same religion as you did to the old Nordic gods. Yes. And it sounds like, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is it fair to say that he was conflicted on whether to practice the old Nordic god religion or Christianity? Yes. Okay. Well, that would explain why he is both a practicing retard and a member of the local masonry. For fuck's sake. He was okay. Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay. That's okay. Where he was. There are other religions that he was thinking about practicing during that time. If he was, he didn't share. Okay. You didn't know about it? Yes. And so, but at least, or at the very minimum, he was carrying through with practicing or... Hold on. Practicing or praising the old Nordic gods with you, going through these ceremonies and whatnot with you at the time. Is that right? Yes, in our bedroom. Okay. And so when he would cut his hand, that would be to offer blood to the gods. Yes. When he did that to you, I mean, was that voluntary on your part? I was watching him do it, and he only did it once. No, I meant, but when he also said he also cut your hand. Is that right? Yes, sir. And did he hold you down and cut your hand, or did you willingly participate in that and to say, okay, I want to sacrifice my blood to the gods as well, cut my hand too? No, sir. Okay. I was standing next to him. He grabbed my hand. It was very quickly, and he just did a small slice right here. Okay. All right. You said that the religion you practice, the old Nordic god, is that a religion very protective of his children, and no one in that religion would hurt children? Is that an accurate statement? Yes. Okay. And that's the religion that Brad Holder was practicing, at least in part, with you? Yes. Okay. These statements that Patrick Westphal allegedly made, did you hear any of them yourself? No, sir. And so you were getting those through Brad Holder? Yes, sir. Were you ever in the same location where Patrick Westphal made these statements? Never met him. You never met Patrick Westphal at all? No, sir. So you never heard him make any of these statements that Brad Holder was talking about? No, sir, I did not. Okay, all right. During the time you were married to Brad Holder, where did you live? We lived first in an upstairs, like one-bedroom apartment. That was a bad question. Which town did you live in? Sorry. Logansport, Indiana. Logansport. Did you ever move outside of Logansport after we were married? No. When you were with Brad, sorry, that was a bad question. Did you ever move outside of Logansport while you were with Brad and married to Brad? No, sir. Okay, during the time you lived with Brad, did you and Brad ever travel to Delphi? No, sir. Did you ever travel to the Monon High Bridge? No, sir. Okay, did you ever travel to Rushville? No, sir. Do you know everybody by the name of Elvis Fields? No, sir. What about Rod Abrams? No, sir. What about Johnny Messer? No, sir. Okay. Do you know, during the time you were together, was there ever an occasion that you knew that Brad Holder traveled to Delphi? No, sir. Did you ever travel to the Monon High Bridge? Not that I know of. Did you ever travel to Rushville? Not that I know of. Did any of those people that I mentioned ever come to your house? No, sir. Okay. This is in 2018, a year later. And apparently they had a fight regarding this. So what does it matter if she saw them or not? Okay. And if Brad was practicing the same religion you were at the time, it would have been against your religion to hold any kind of sacrifice and killing of a child. Yes, sir. To even hurt a child. Yes, sir. You said that Brad Holder owned knives. Do you own any knives? Yes, sir. Are knives a big part? I don't want to say big part. Are knives a part of your religion? Yes. And so is it common for somebody who's practicing or who believes in the ordinary gods to have knives? Yes, sir. And when I talk about knives, I'm not talking about kitchen knives in the kitchen block. These are, I want to say, ornate knives, but these are knives, I guess, that aren't the regular knives you would use in the kitchen. Is that fair in saying? Yes, sir. Okay, the runes you talked about that Brad Holder made would make your runes as well, or runes for you as well. Yes, sir. And that is part of your religion as well. Yes, sir. Okay, the fact that you carry knives and that you make runes and that you worship the old Nordic gods, does that mean that you do sacrificial killings? No, sir. What a stupid question. I mean, these are deranged people. I mean, they're, I can't say any religion where they haven't had extremists doing really vile stuff. Do you know anybody that you associate with that worships the old Nordic gods that participate in sacrificial human killing? Not that I know of. Okay. Does everybody that worships the same religion you do they have knives like you and Brad Holder had? They might, but I'm not sure, sir. Is it common? We like knives, swords, hatchets, machetes. Miss, we don't have machetes up here. For fuck's sake. What about runes? Is it common for someone who practices your religion to have runes? Yes, sir. Okay. Do you know Abby? No. How about Libby? No. Were they ever at your house? No. She was married to him in 2018. The murders were in 2017. What would you have said if she said yes? Jesus Christ, this is stupid. Mr. McLeland, Judge, the Monument Judge. Amber, did you know Brad in 2017? No, sir. When did you meet? Doesn't have to be exact date. Just, was it the end of 2017? I'm sorry, let me withdraw the question. You said you got married in 2018. Was it at the beginning of 2018? Maybe. How long did you know him before you got married? Probably a couple of months. So safe to say, if you met him, it may have been Mr. McLeland. Let me rephrase that, Judge. You met him a couple of months before you were married. Did the two of you move in together right away? No, sir. And you didn't know him before, I guess, prior. Let me back up, Judge. I'm sorry. These are bad questions. Yeah, these are idiot questions. When you were with him, where did he work? He said he worked at the landfill. Okay. Did you have any doubts about that? No, but I've never been there or seen him working there, so I was taking him at his words. But he was working. He said yes. Okay, I don't have any other questions, Judge. Redirect examination. Question. Brad Holder, did you talk about Patrick Westphal as a former friend or a current friend when you were married to him? He said that he was a former. And the reason that they were former friends is related to what? Related to the argument they had next to the river. Okay. Was that part of a ritual? Was the argument over a ritual that happened? I'm not sure. He didn't go very well into detail. Something about blood on a stone and... Yes. Okay, and all right. I have no other questions. No other questions, George. Thank you. Or thank you, Miss Holder. You may step down. Thank you, ma'am. You may call your next witness. Thank you, Judge. I would call Kevin Murphy. But folks, for some reason, my throat is acting up here. Sorry, folks. I have to cut this a bit short because my throat is acting up here. All right. Sorry, folks. Usually these are 3-hour sessions, but not now. But yeah, folks, the Jerry Holeman claiming that he claims that these are the same person. And I believe that is the reason why these sketches weren't allowed into evidence. Because the prosecution and Judge Gall knew that if Jerry can lie about this, what else is he capable of lying about? This is, yeah. So folks, again, thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to do this. Tomorrow we are returning to the Alicia Andrews trial. It will be the second to last day of the state's case in chief, and I have issues with the presentation of the so-called evidence in that case. Do I believe Alicia might have been involved in some way, shape, or form? Yeah. But that's not enough. We need to have evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. And in my opinion, the state isn't even close. So, folks, again, thank you. And I will see you all in the next stream or video. You all have a good one. See ya. Bye-bye.
Down in the shadows where the courthouse stands, a gavel cracks a fading hands. Judge Gould, they whisper with a crooked grin, played the game where justice don't win. Free Rick Allen, let him go. Chains on the innocent, don't you know? When the truth's been buried and the lies unfold, the fire in the people burns hot and cold. Prosecutor Mickelin with his papers tied wrote the tale that never saw light. Twisted words in a room of stone, left Rick Allen to stand alone. Who will answer? Who will pay? The sun don't rise on a judgment day. Free Rick Allen, let him go. Chains on the innocent, don't you know? When the truth's been buried and the lies unfold, the fire in the people burns hot and cold. Officer Holeman, eyes like frost, drunk on power, the line got lost. Lock the doors, keep him inside, for justice limps where his footsteps stride.